right, today's I can is I can explain why a fraction is greater than or less than a half. So let's look at 3/4. Look at the denominator 4. What's half of 4? Half of 4 is 2. So whenever you take half of your denominator and use that same denominator, you're creating an equivalent fraction to 1/2. 2/4 is equal to 1/2. I'm going to say that again. Whenever you take a fraction and you're taking half of that fraction's denominator, which is 2 in this case, keep the same denominator, and you're creating an equivalent fraction to a half. So 2/4 is equal to a half. Now I can compare 3/4 to 2/4 really easily because 3 is greater than 2. Now I know 3/4 is greater than a half, or 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Let's look at that on a number line. All right, so I have 0, 1 whole, and a half. And I've rewritten my half as 2/4. So now you can easily see how 3 plots on the number line after 2, or 3/4 after 2/4. And then you can see also how 3/4 is greater than 1/2. All right, let's try another one. Look at the denominator of the fraction. 6. What's half of 6? Half of 6 is 3. I'm going to keep the same denominator, and now I've rewritten a fraction equal to 1/2, but with a common denominator of 6. So now I can compare 5/6 to 3/6, which is equal to a half. 5 is greater than 3. 5/6 is greater than 3/6, which is equal to a half. Let's draw a number line. All right, so I have my starting point 0, 1 whole, and then a half. And I know that 3/6 is equal to a half. So when I plot my 5/6, I can see that it goes right around here. But either way, it's greater than 1/2. All right, let's try another one. 5/12. Look at the denominator. What's half of 12? Half of 12 is 6. Keep the same denominator. You just rewritten 1/2 as an equivalent fraction, but now it has a common denominator of 12, so you can compare these two easily. This time, 5/12 is less than 6/12, which means 5/12 is less than a half. Let's draw a number line. All right, so I have 0, 1, and a half. And I know that 6/12 is an equivalent to a half, so I'll plot that right up here. And then look at 5/12. I know 5 is less than 6, so 5/12 would go probably a little closer, but right here-ish. But either way, it's less than a half. All right, this time let's look at a fraction with a denominator that's odd. So instead of thinking what's half of my denominator, I'm going to start by rewriting this fraction as an equivalent fraction with a denominator that's even. So multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2 to write an equivalent fraction. Now my denominator is even. Whenever you have a fraction with an odd denominator, you can always make an equivalent fraction or rewrite it as an equivalent fraction by multiplying by 2. 2/3 is equal to 4/6. Now I can use that same method I did before. What's half of 6? 3. Use the same denominator. 3/6 is equal to 1/2. And now I can compare 4/6 to 3/6. 4 is greater than 3. Let's draw it on a number line. All right, so I have 0, 1, and a half. 3, 6 is equivalent to a half, so I'll plot that right here. And then 4, 6, which is equal to 2/3. So I'm going to use 2/3, not 4, 6. 2/3, right about here. 2/3 is greater than 3, 6, or greater than 1/2. All right, let's look at the fraction 4/9. 9 is odd, so I'm going to rewrite this fraction as an equivalent fraction with the denominator that's even by multiplying by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 2 is 18. Now I look at the denominator, 18. What's half of 18? Half of 18 is 9. Keep the same denominator, 9/18. 9/18 is a fraction that's equivalent to 1/2. And now I can compare 8/18 to 9/18. 8/18 is less than 9/18. Let's draw it on a number line. Okay, I have my number line 0, 1, and a half. 1/2 is equal to 8/18 here. Excuse me, 9/18. And then I'm going to plot my 8/18 or my 4/9. 8 goes a little bit before 9, but I'm going to rewrite this as my original fraction 4/9. So 4/9 is less than 9/18 or 1/2. All right, let's review. So you have 3/4 and 2/3. The 4 here is, all right, so I have 3/4 and 2/3, an even denominator and an odd denominator. If it's an even denominator, just think what's half of that number? Half of that number, using the same denominator, will create an equivalent fraction to 1/2 with a common denominator of your starting fraction. And then you can easily compare 3/4 is greater than 2/4. 3/4 is greater than 1/2. If you have an odd denominator, you can multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2, which will always give you an equivalent fraction with an even denominator. Using that same method, what's half of 6? Half of 6 is 3. Use that same denominator here, 6. I've rewritten an equivalent fraction to 1/2. And now I can compare 4/6 is greater than 1/2 or 3/6. And that's it.